So, we just got a fresh round of leaks and small hints that all point in the same direction. The game is quietly setting the stage for Columbina. In this video, I'm going to tie those threads together in simple language, explain what they could mean for your teams and polls, and show why a bunch of things we're seeing now make way more sense if you view them as prep for her release. We'll also break down the new version 6.2 change notes, like the Hexenzirkel passives and the tweaks to Klee, Venti, Durin, and so on. Let us start with what Columbina is rumored to be, because that shapes everything else. The current picture says she is a 5-star Hydro Catalyst user with a flexible kit. Very early descriptions paint her as someone who can act as a main damage dealer when you want the focus on field, but who can also step back and provide off-field support with steady Hydro application. If that holds, she fits the modern pattern where one character can fill more than one role, depending on how you build artifacts and weapons. Obviously, there is also chatter that her kit touches the Lunar Reaction family, which in simple terms means she could directly boost the two reactions many people are still figuring out in this region, Luna Charged and Luna Bloom. The words you should keep in your head are flexibility and uptime. If she can keep Hydro running while not demanding every second of field time, she will slide into many teams without drama. Now, why say the game is preparing for her? Look at the calendar logic first. Every sign points to version 6.3, Phase 1, as the likely release slot. That would let the story momentum from 6.2 roll straight into a playable banner without a long wait. It also lines up perfectly with how the developers often time a rerun 4 patches after a debut for characters in an Archon-like position. If Columbina is truly the central figure for Nodcry, a first rerun around version 6.7 is the safe guess. This is the exact spacing we have seen before, and it matches how player interest usually flows. Debut on the first half, story climax close by, then a return a few months later for everyone who waited. Second, look at the artifact space. Leaks talk about 2 new sets coming in this window. One is described as tailored to Columbina's needs, and honestly, that makes complete sense. When a 5-star is meant to carry a region's combat style, giving them a set that lines up with their numbers is almost standard practice now. The other set is said to serve the characters tied to the new Hexenzirkel mechanic, which includes names like Albedo, Mona, and the new boy Durin. If you step back, that is exactly how you see the meta for the next few months. It is preparation on 2 tracks, raise the new unit ceiling and raise the partner's floor. Third, the playable before release trick is back. Multiple sources now say Columbina will be playable in version 6.2, but not on a normal banner. Instead, she should appear in a specific sequence of the Archon quest, the same way Flynn's was playable during the Archon quest before his banner ever arrived. This is more than a cute tease. It is a very smart way to give everyone a short test drive so they get used to her animation timing and elemental rhythm, and of course, to get the players hyped. If you feel that snappy Hydro tick in your hands during a set-piece boss fight, you are far more likely to visualize your teams and start saving. Hopefully we are getting set in a limited space where her skill, burst, and off-field effects are revealed. And speaking of test drives, the latest version 5 change list shows exactly how Hoyoverse is tuning the stage before she arrives. The theme is clear: more Hexenzirkel links, cleaner quality of life for older units, and a few number shifts that lean into party synergy instead of solo padding. Klee first. Her second constellation now cleanly applies a defense shred when her elemental skill hits. The value sits at roughly 23% for 10 seconds. That is not a tiny tweak. Any team that snapshots, or any driver who keeps enemies inside skill damage, benefits straight away. If you have ever felt Klee's skill was more about particle drip than team payoff, this is the kind of lever that makes her feel modern again. Venti gets the most obvious Hexenzirkel flag. After finishing his Witch's Homework note, he is treated as a Hexerai member, and if your party has at least 2 Hexerai characters, you gain a Secret Right effect. While his Burst Stormeye is active, any nearby active character who triggers a swirl gets a short damage boost, and the Stormeye itself ticks harder, up to around 135% of its normal value. Albedo's page is even busier. He too becomes Hexenzirkel after a small requirement, and the secret rite grants a 2-layer support identity. First, after creating a solar isotoma, he gives nearby party members a broad damage increase that scales by roughly 4% for every 1,000 defense he has, capped near 12%. Second, after generating a silver isotoma, yes, that is new, nearby Hexenzirkel party members gain a stronger version that scales 10% per 1,000 defense, up to about 30%. The silver isotoma logic matters. If there is no solar isotoma on the field, Albedo can conjure a silver one near the opponent that lasts about 10 seconds and still spawns transient blossoms. You can have 2 of those silver pads active at once. The net effect is that he is no longer only a set-and-forget geo turret. He becomes a low-maintenance buffer whose numbers scale with the stat he already stacks. In a Hexenzirkel duo, he suddenly reads like real glue. Durance entries mostly tighten wording and surface timing. After using his skill, he gains Essential Transmutation for roughly 6 seconds. During that window, your next input steers him into Confirmation of Purity or Denial of Darkness, which then unlock different burst flavors, area leaning versus single target leaning, exactly as we discussed in an earlier video. A helpful bonus line says that when he enters either state in battle, he restores a bit of elemental energy, but only once every 6 seconds. That tiny clause is important because it smooths rotations and lowers the battery load you need to dedicate to him. His 4th constellation note also clarifies a burst damage increase of around 40% and introduces a chance to preserve his special stacks when they would be consumed, which makes his peak windows less fragile. Before we wrap up, a reminder about certainty. Everything here is based on leaks and patterns. The developers can change artifact effects, banner orders, and even the feel of a character all the way until the build locks. The structure is what prepares you best. The likely timing, the preview event, the artifact pairs, the synergy with refreshed older characters, and the rerun window. These are the pieces you can plan around without getting burned. If this all lands the way it looks, version 6.3 will not feel like a sudden jump. It will feel like the natural next step after a month of careful setup. You will have a domain to grind that pays out no matter what drops. You will have seen her in action in a safe story space. Your potential teammates will have picked up small synergy perks that make old favorites feel new. And you will have a clean banner lane that gives a new Hydro Catalyst room to shine without competing with a dozen distractions. That is how the game prepares for a big release. It is quiet, but once you notice the pattern, you cannot unsee it. Alright, keep your resin ready, keep an eye on the codes, and get set for the moment when Columbina steps out of the story and onto the banner. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.